Well, it's very exciting when you're getting ready to buy a RV or a car. I put them both there because they're both vehicles. RV stands for recreational vehicle, and of course, you know what a car is. But with an RV, it is a little different because you can live in a lot of them, and it could be treated a little different. But I wanted to include both of them because buying a car or an RV is one of the biggest financial decisions in your life. The biggest financial decision you'll make is to have a child, number one, to have a pet, number two, and to have a house, number three. A child, a pet, because a pet is similar to a child, another mouth to feed, another major responsibility, and having a house. So, right in that category is buying a car RV because it's a responsibility, it's a commitment, it's a financial obligation. Whether you pay cash or whether you pay per month, which most people do, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but most people do. I've done it. So I want to share with you in this video the top 3 things you'll need to know, because you need to know it and you need to try to remember it, because anytime you're doing anything where there's a lot of adrenaline, there's a lot of emotion involved, and buying a car RV, it's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of emotion. And it's like everything. Everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, meaning that everyone has an idea of what they want to do, but once their emotions take hold, once their adrenaline takes hold, they just impulse. Impulse buying is by the register, or when you check out Amazon, they recommend certain things because people are mainly driven by impulses, not self-control. So these are just things to try to remind you and try to help you, because I think of them now that I'm older. When you're young, in your 20s, and even into your 30s, we're operating off a lot of impulses and only general math. And you need to know more specific math, and you need to understand as you get older, don't beat yourself up if you're younger. Part of being young is making mistakes and just doing your thing. But as you get older, you want to mature and try to refine to get better. Make your life better, make your life easier. Okay, so here's the first thing, and this is a very important thing. First thing you need to know when you're buying an RV or car is you want the I put out to door, but out of door I put out of door price. Okay. What does that mean? Well, if a car is listed for $30,000, the out the door price is going to be, you have to add tax, license, registration, fees, and that'll usually be another $3-4 grand or so. Okay, after you add all the other fees. So same thing with RV. Remember, they're both vehicles. RV stands for recreational vehicle. So when negotiating, okay, whether you pay cash or credit, and most people are going to get a loan, you want to talk about every time you submit an offer, because remember, you're submitting an offer. You get down to the table with the salesman or saleswoman, nothing is written in stone. Everything is negotiable. Now I know, like, during the past few years when there was a supply chain shortage, there wasn't much negotiation. You either pay the price or pay above price, or that's it. But now that things are normalized, it's back to normal where everything's negotiable. It doesn't mean they owe you a discount, and it doesn't mean they're going to give you one, but it means you can ask. Because remember, for most people, 90% of the time you come on the RV dealership lot or the car lot, you came there with a car or an Uber, and I doubt that you need to leave with a car. You may feel like that, but the feeling versus the reality is different. So when you're sitting down at the table and they tell you, well, this is our price, this is the best we can do, we've been in business for 30 years, we'll be here without you. It's okay, I want to make this deal, but I want to talk about the out the door price, out of door price. Everything you do, out of door price, out of door price. You don't want to talk about the discount price, you don't want to talk about the sticker price, you want to talk about the out the door price. That way, that means taxes, fees, registration. You want to say, look, all registration fees, all taxes, everything, we're talking out the door. Use round numbers. 30,000, 35,000, 72,000. Use round numbers. Why? Round numbers are easy to remember. And that way, when you sit down for the final signature, you could look at that out the door price. If that out the door price is not 72,000, that's on them. Okay. Why? Because that's what you were negotiating. Write it down. Write it down like this and tell them this is what you want to talk about, the out the door price, out of door. Okay. 2, you pick the rate. Okay, you pick the interest rate. I was going to put interest rate, but I'll just put rate because it's a small whiteboard. You pick the interest rate. Interest rate on an RV is going to be a little bit higher in most cases versus a car. Okay, and you do the math. Meaning, before you go to a lot, you use an online calculator, which they're very easily and free accessible now, and you do the math for a 5-year loan on a $30,000 car. If you're going to put $2,000 down, you got to know the math, okay? And you got to know what you're putting down, and it starts with the out-of-door price. So let's just say, round numbers, you're going to buy a $30,000 car, out-the-door price, taxes, everything included. You're going to put $5,000 down. You're going to finance $25,000, and you're going to have a loan. You're going to have an interest rate of 5%. Okay? So $25,000 loan, 5% interest rate over 5 years. Put it in the calculation math and know what you're going to pay per month. That way, when they give you the final sheet to sign, you know the out-the-door price, how much you're putting down, the interest rate, and what you expect to pay per month. Don't just go to the car lot and say, I want to pay $400 a month, because it's all about the transaction cost. And you could be paying a certain amount per month, but you're not going to know how much you're going to put down, and you're not going to determine the length of the loan. You want to determine all that by knowing this information up front. 3, let's wrap this up. And this one you'll probably hear in most videos. Forgive the sloppy writing, but the message is important. Credit score. So you want to know your credit score. Is it 750? And nowadays, usually with your banking, you can have one every month just generated in your account when you log on online. And you can pull, in America, 1 free credit score per year. So you want to know your credit score. Why? Because it determines a lot of this. Okay? And if you know you got bad credit and you're going to pay a 25% interest loan, which I've paid at one time, then you know you're going to get screwed. But I did in my 20s. As you get older, you want to know your credit score before you go. You want to negotiate the out-the-door price. You want to do the math so you know how much you're putting down, how much the interest rate's going to be. It's going to be based on your credit score. You got to know that. And then you're going to know all the numbers. So that's how you have strength in negotiation. If you don't know all this because your financial house is in order, then you're going to get screwed. But I've been screwed. That's part of life too. But you're not getting screwed. You're getting, beggars can't be choosers. So don't always look at things like, oh, you're getting screwed. No, beggars can't be choosers. If you have poor credit, if you don't do the math, if you don't negotiate the out-the-door price, you're begging basically for a deal. So, and I've been there. So it's part of life. Okay. So either way, I hope this general video with specific information, I know it's sloppy, I know it's on a whiteboard, but guys, it's simple, easy to understand. We talked it out under 10 minutes. You're going to spend a couple hours at the dealership. If you're not prepared to spend a couple hours at the dealership, if you're not prepared to walk away, and if you're not prepared to know all this, then one of the biggest financial transactions in your life will be a burden to you. Have I done the wrong thing? Sure, we all have. But that's how you learn. But it's just like, if you go in a pet store and you're not planning to get a pet, if you have a child, you're not planning to have a child. If you do anything, guys, just based off emotion, it could work out. It could still be a blessing. It's not negative. But if we want to be positive, we have to take control. Okay? And we have to exercise a little more self-control and put a little more effort into our big decisions. Okay? Yeah. Or else our life is just going to be one big cat litter. Okay? One big shit. Okay? And I don't know about you, but I don't like that. So it's about moving forward, not beating ourselves up going back. I hope the video helped. If it did, subscribe. If you're not, share the video and click the thumbs up. Thank you for watching.